It's crazy, I live in a place where I used to come to the airport. I could never afford a house like that. I've been an Austin resident this time for 14 and a half years. I grew up here in Austin, went to high school here, and then moved back here 14 years ago. Since the first time I'm here, it's crazy, I live in a place where I used to come to the airport, and so the fact that I'm living in East Austin now is something I would have never thought about in the 1980s when I lived here. When we moved back here 14 years ago from Corpus Christi, we were struggling to purchase a house. We were able to purchase it. That house more than doubled during the time we lived there. And now, my child wants to do the same thing we did, purchase a house. He's a professional and he can't do it because the housing market is just too expensive for him. I would never have been able to afford a house that I lived in, that we just sold if I was a new mother with elementary school students. I could never afford a house like that. I love that my neighbors come from all different economic situations. We're all together living in this wonderful courtyard and celebrating life cycle events. We have someone who just had a baby. We had someone who had lost a family member, and we're all celebrating together. And we all do come from a different economic status. And I'm living in a cohesive world, how we should be living. The people that are starting out as a professional, making a decent salary in the $60,000 range, they can't afford to live in East Austin, and North Austin, and Westlake these days. We were very shocked. We were incredibly shocked by the fact that we bought our house, and when we sold it, it sold for over 2 times what we purchased for plus. We were, astonished by the revenue that we made off that house, and the fact that we were able to use that to help pay for the house that we have now, and we're going to be able to do a little bit of travel and stuff like that. I love Austin. I went to high school here, and I love the fact that Austin likes to keep everything unique. It is sad how we have grown so much, and we're losing a lot of that uniqueness by just the change of the people that are moving into Austin. And I think that we need to remember as Austinites, what has motivated us to live in this community and to live into Austin. I love the fact that every time I go travel outside of Texas and everybody says, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Austin." They're like, "Oh, what a great place." And I said, "Yeah." And most people who live there feel the same way. In this neighborhood, the fact that we're all living together, we have all different colors, all different races, all different cultures, living in a small enclosed area where we have to get to know each other. We have to lean on each other, especially during this pandemic. We are right next to each other. We had to know that everybody had each other's back. And that's what equality is about. It's saying that, I'm just as important as you are, and you're just as important as me, and that together we're in this crazy world together, supporting each other. And that's one of the things I love about this community, is that I have found that I can easily knock on somebody's door and ask for that cup of sugar, so I didn't have to go and mask up and go to HEB and deal with all the crowds. That I could just easily rely on one of my neighbors. And that's what equity is about, and that's what inclusion is about. And I think that this neighborhood is demonstrating that we all can live together cohesively and still respect each other, and then respect the fact that we all have different values and we all have different opinions, and we can be respectful of each other.